Opportunities obviously this offseason to interview for head coaching jobs. Just in terms of that process, what did you sort of find out about yourself thinking about it?
I mean, it was a great experience, great process. You know, you meet a lot of great people in this business. You know, throughout all these organizations, there's people who do their job at such a high level. So that was a great experience. But kind of going through and getting the opportunity to sit down, think about what you really, really believe in. You know what I mean? How you would drive a program forward. That was a great experience. So in every which way, with every organization, it really was. It was good overall.
Hey, Coach, I know it's until you get on the grass and get past some of these things you already tell me. So far, how's Ventrell done in his progress with this opportunity he's got?
Say that again, I'm sorry.
Ventrell, how's he done?
Yeah, Ventrell's done, I think, a really good job to this point. So, you know, there's a bunch of guys battling it out in that room right now. But Ventrell did a good job for us last year, you know, and played a bunch for us. But he's a really physical guy. I think one of the things that he brings to our defense is a physicality in the run game. And having been around and had a few guys like that in the past, I think we got a really good feel for how he fits in, how to use him, and really try to play to within his strengths within the defense. So,
any concern at all about him being 3 inches shorter than Devin as far as covering?
No, I don't really have that concern. I mean, you know, obviously linebackers come in all different sizes. You know, Sam Mills was 5'9" and was a multi-year old pro, and he's a Jersey guy, so I'm just throwing a plug in for him right there. It's the greatest state in the union. But no, I mean, there's you know, there's all different types of guys and different sizes of guys have had success, and some of those things actually kind of carry over in our system.
What does healthy Trayvon mean to you?
Means a lot. I mean, I think one of the most important things we did this offseason was bringing Trey back, you know, keeping him under contract and getting him re-signed here because he's such a huge part of everything we do. I talk about that a lot, but him being healthy and him getting the opportunity to really kind of practice the technique that we really, really believe in, for him to get another year in the system and be better at what he's doing, I couldn't be more excited about that.
What was intriguing about Wesley Williams?
I think I said this during the draft, but his play style, we really tried to lean into that with all these guys we took. But Wesley is a guy that's he's going to run around all day. He's not a guy that you're going to find a clip of him taking a play off. He's just a high character, tough kid. He's been pretty quick on the uptake, so that's been exciting about him. But I think Wes has some rush ability and is really an every down player. You know what I mean? He's not just a specific, hey, this guy's a pass rusher, this guy's a plugger in the run game. To me, he's an every down player. And he's a young guy relative to a lot of the guys who were in this draft, so I really feel like he's only going to get better.
This is the first time Antonio has really been one of the vets in the safety room.
Sure.
How have you kind of seen him embrace that role, just with all the young guys there?
Yeah, definitely a little bit different for him coming in this year, just knowing everything that he knows within the system.
Sure.
And you see him helping the young guys, you know, helping Jalen and other guys in the room. He's been a really, really good communicator, done a good job in the meetings, but the cool thing about him is he's had a lot on his plate, maybe more than even some other guys, because Antonio plays, you know, both safety positions, nickel, dime. He does a lot. So when you do that, it's hard. You know, it's hard to learn all that stuff. But in the end, the silver lining is, you know, the defense is good or better than anybody. You know, and I think he's at the point now where he can coach a lot of the techniques that we're asking the guys to play.
Can we see you looking at the video board? How's that changed? What you're able to do during camp and in real time?
Yeah, I think it's good. You know, during the we actually had that when I was at Michigan, which I thought was really, really good. You know, you kind of take a quick peek just to get an idea of what exactly happened. Maybe if there's something that's out of your vantage point, you know, from where we're standing on the field, you have a better feel for it, and possibly can answer some of the questions for the guys quicker, better. Liam does a great job during the season, you know, having the iPads out, so like within each drive, when the offense is up, the defense is going through, we're kind of getting the answers in real time, and that way I think what it also does is it makes things really, really clear for the players. There's no like, hey, I thought this, I thought that. Well, like, clearly that didn't happen, or that did happen, you know. So everybody's on the same page with that, which is a good thing. You know, there's less miscommunication.
Did Josh want to put on some extra weight? Did you guys want him to?
Yeah, I think he looks good, man. I would say, with all these guys, like even D-Ham, Josh, a lot of these guys, if you look at, you know, the indexes here in the weight room, these guys have put on really good weight. And I think our strength program here, like those guys are, honest to God, is incredible. What they did with some of these guys, their bodies, from all the way from when we got here last year to where they're at now, and you look at like the DEXA and all the stuff that they're talking about, and their like just general strength overall, our strength as a team, I feel like has improved. So I think some of that you see with the guys, like is actually visible now, especially some of the DBs. You know, you look at some of their pictures from early on last year to where they're at now, because it's a real strength program. Like Eric pushes these guys; it's a grind, and I've been really impressed with that. And I think that's kind of a credit to those guys in there.
How much are you guys trying to counter, just in general, these bigger offensive packages that are now going to prevail around the league? It looks like.
Yeah, I think you always got to be. When you talk about just the mentality of your defense, like if people are going to be able to run the ball on you, you know, it's a long day, and what that does to a team psychologically in a game, it can be really bad. You know, defensively, that's great. Like, hey guys, make some plays in the pass game, and obviously you're always trying to do a great job there. But I think there is a physical high that comes for offensive players when they're able to run the ball at the defense. And for us on defense, you know, that's something that you're always trying to counter that. You know, the physicality and staying square, doing your job in a run game. Defense is built on trust. And we say in our room, trust comes and drops, and it's lost in buckets. So, you know, if you're doing your job every day, you develop a trust, appreciation, and love for each other. But when you have guys that don't do their job, trust can be gone pretty quickly. So the run game is built on that. You know, doing your job every day, being physical. And to answer your question, I know it's a long answer, but that is something we always are going to put a premium on here.
What's the next step for Buster? Had a career year last year for you guys, year 2 in your defense. What's the next step?
Yeah, I think he's just trying to improve on some things, you know, in terms of really all the levels, right? Line of scrimmage skills, break area skills, fade area skills. I think Coach Arujo's done an incredible job with those guys. Just overall, those meetings, I wish you could be in them. Like, they're super detailed. He's a great young coach, and I think the guys are really taking to him. And he's challenging them every day as you see him here in the individual period. So those guys are getting better each day, and that's what they're all doing. He's really kind of come up with a good action plan for each guy that way.
For Buster specifically, do you think he looks different, or have you noticed anything different about him coming in?
I think he's also one of those guys who physically, his body looks different. Like, you know, he's improved in terms of like his strength and all that stuff since we got here. So I do see a little bit of a physical difference in him.
Hey Anthony, your pressure rate was high, sack number was last year. How do you take that next step to finishing this plays?
Yeah, I think part of that is just tying it. I talked about this a little bit in the offseason too. You know, tightening up some of the stuff on the back end. Just the ball, like if you look at that, the ball's coming out pretty quick. You know, so that's a good thing. But we got to be able to tighten it up when that ball does come out, to be able to make some more plays on the ball, or force the quarterback to be able to hold that ball another tick longer. So I think that's part of it. It's rush and coverage tied together. But I think the D-line guys, Derek LeBlanc and Matt Edwards, have done a great job this offseason. We spent a ton of time on that, you know, how to utilize our guys in the front a little bit better, you know, play to their strengths. And we got some new things this year that I think are going to be pretty good for us.
What do you like about Rook?
Rook?
Yeah.
He's really athletic, man. You know, I think the thing that's jumped out to me just in the short time he's been here is he's really improved a lot of his skills in the run game. He had a couple of plays, you know, so far where just kind of grabbing our guys and shedding, and he's super strong. Like, he's another guy who's weight room strong. He does play that way, and I think he's done a good job of playing with his hands. The D-line coaches are doing a really good job with him, and he's got a ton of athletic ability. So that definitely is something that gets you excited, because he's got a little twitch in there in the rush, which is awesome.
Last year compared to this year, how much more far along were you guys? As Trayvon mentioned, that they're critiquing each other. Is that the focus now?
Yeah, I think, you know, last year they're learning it all. You know what I mean? They're trying to build the foundation, and they're trying to catch up, and you're trying to go as fast as you can to get the stuff laid down, you know what I mean? Even from a technique standpoint. Now it's a little bit different, where I think what Trey's probably talking about is they are coaching each other in the drills, in the meeting room. It's stuff that they know, and they're able to help the younger guys a little bit better than they were last year. But, you know, at the end of the day, like last year, we got to get better from here. I think they all know that. You know, they've taken that very, very seriously. They've taken that to heart. So there's a lot of improvement for us to still make. And I think they've done a pretty good job at that to this point.